You're watching Access Minnesota. Here's Jim Dubois.
Now back to more of our interview with University of Minnesota President Eric Kaler. Here at the University of Minnesota at the Twin Cities campus, the College of Liberal Arts is the largest college in terms of enrollment. Its dean, James Parenti, is stepping down very soon. What will you be looking for in Dean Parenti's replacement, and what challenges will the new dean have in coming into a situation where more people are questioning the value of a liberal arts education?
Well, first we needed a dean who is an innovative thinker around the liberal arts, the humanities in particular, because there is really some challenge now in conversations about the value of a liberal arts education, as you say. The irony in that to me is that when I talk to business leaders around the state, around the Twin Cities, they tell me they need students who can communicate well, who can work in teams, who can solve problems, who have an international perspective. In other words, the things you get out of a liberal arts education. So our ability to tell our students about the value of the liberal arts and the humanities, as well as equip them as they go through those studies, about the application of those skills and about how to shape themselves to enter the job market in a competitive way. And we'll look for a dean who has thought about those kind of challenges. It is, as you say, our largest college. It's the largest liberal arts college in the state of Minnesota. And we want students to enjoy their studies, but come out prepared to contribute back to society. And we have, I think, great opportunities. We have great strengths in that college. So I'm excited about the search for the new leader, and I'm very confident we'll bring an excellent person into play.
Where do you see the future of liberal arts in, say, 10 to 15 years?
I think it's a core element of what we do. American higher education is still the envy of the world. People from every country want to come study in the United States of America. And the core of that education is this liberal arts tradition. The ability to think critically, the ability to ask hard questions, the ability to challenge authority, and be able to learn in a variety of different ways and yet synthesize that information into a powerful point of view. It's the core of what we do. All of our undergraduates take a large fraction of their coursework in the College of Liberal Arts, and that's going to continue, I think, to be the hallmark. Right now, sure, there's some conversations about some degrees that perhaps aren't as attractive to employers as others. But the core of that knowledge is what makes American higher education great, and I think it's going to continue to do that in the future.
In your first State of the University address last year, you had mentioned extending the university's academic calendar to a full year. What is the status of that at this point? So
we've had some people look at that, and it makes more sense for some colleges than others right now, and so we're rolling out a prototype in the College of Design over the next 2 summers that will move them into a year-round curriculum, and we'll see how that works. They're very excited. The dean there, Tom Fisher, a very creative guy, and they're excited about seeing how that's going to work. And we've lined up some of the larger classes in science and engineering and CLA to be sure that we're filling the summer needs adequately there. So we're taking steps towards it, but it's more of an evolution than a revolution for sure.
This summer, the university will offer some massive open online classes, or MOOCs as they are called. Tell us more about that process. It's a partnership with Coursera, a for-profit entity. Tell us more about how you see the future of MOOCs emerging.
Well, I wish I had a good crystal ball and I'd tell you what MOOCs would look like. It's a very rapidly evolving landscape, and we're right where we want to be. We're in this partnership with Coursera, as you mentioned. Lets us observe the landscape close up, lets us be part of that. We have, I think, now 5 courses up with about 40,000 students registered. And so we'll watch it evolve. I think the challenge in this will be finding ways to make money, frankly. It's great to do this as an experiment. It's great for our faculty to be able to develop some teaching tools that can be reused in a variety of different ways. But until we see a way to monetize this, it's not going to be a sustainable model. And there's a lot of conversations out there about how to do that. We are in a watch and wait mode around this, and I think that's actually the smart place to be right now.
What is your personal opinion of online education?
I think for people who are place-bound, for people who need to fill in some training or some coursework, it's terrific, and I think it's a powerful tool, and will enable more people to get more education, which is just a good thing. I don't see it supplanting traditional brick and mortar institutions anytime soon. I tell the story when our children turned 18, everybody wanted them to go to college, and I think that's going to be true. I think young people will transition from teenagers to young adults in many cases at colleges and universities. What happens when they get to those colleges and universities will certainly change. We'll be using online teaching. We will expect people to look at the lecture online, do some exercises to build skills, and then come to the classroom where the professor is going to be a coach and a mentor and a guide much more than just a transmitter of information. So I think that evolution, which will probably be pretty rapid, is going to be very exciting to see. And I think at the end of the day, it should improve student learning and student outcomes.
This past football season, TCF Bank Stadium offered beer for sale, and there were some issues. The U lost about $16,000 in the process. How is that being addressed? We've seen for most other academic institutions with the football program or other sports where beer sales are allowed, there's a rather substantial profit margin. Any reason why money was lost this year, and how do things look going into next season?
Well, there are two parts to that, Jim. First off, we had a lot of startup expenses associated with providing beer, and we took those all in the first year. And so, yes, on paper, that was a negative number. But we went back to our Aramark partner and said, you know, this contract wasn't actually designed for selling beer in the stadium. It was designed for providing alcohol in the suites, which we were prevented from doing by a change in the law. And we've renegotiated that contract with Aramark and actually looked back over last year and readjusted that balance. So in fact, we did make money last year selling beer, and we anticipate doing that going forward. Again, a combination of some accounting decisions and a contract that needed a little tweak, and we've done those things, and I can safely say we've made money selling beer.
Anyone visiting the university campus and its environs will notice a lot of construction. There are luxury apartment buildings going up, new commercial construction in Dinkytown. However, there's some concern that perhaps the historic and unique character of Dinkytown is being compromised by all of this new construction. Does the university have any official opinion on that, or do you leave that simply to the private sector to sort things out?
No, we do have an opinion about that, and we're putting together a team of people to actually have a larger voice in the conversation about what happens around our campus. I think there are puts and takes for the kind of housing that's going up, but we do want to maintain a character around the university of a university town or university village, if you will, and we'll be having a louder voice in those conversations going forward.
Hard to believe, but just a couple of months from now, in September, the university will welcome new students. Tell us about the incoming class, and what are you most excited about every year a new academic year begins?
You know, it's one of the great joys of my line of work is you get this annual renewal where new students come to campus. Bob McMaster, who runs our undergraduate admissions programs, every year so far has provided me with an entering class that has better academic qualifications than the year before. Someday that's going to stop, but it doesn't show any sign of stopping at the University of Minnesota. We had 42,000 applications on the Twin Cities campus, which is an increase of about 15% in applicants. We'll net about 5,500 new students in the fall. They will have the highest ACT score in history, almost 28. Incredibly diverse population of students, incredibly qualified population of students, and we're eager to get them on campus and help them start unlocking what the rest of their life is going to be about.
University of Minnesota President Eric Kaler, thank you so much for joining us on Access Minnesota.
It's great to be with you, Jim. Thanks.
That's all for this month's edition of Access Minnesota. We'll see you again next month. Thanks for watching.
Access Minnesota. Issues that matter to you. Join us again next week as we bring you the newsmakers and stories that shape our everyday lives. Access Minnesota is produced by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association in cooperation with the University of Minnesota's College of Liberal Arts.